Hi there and welcome to this, your daily briefing, brought to you in association with Paradise Lost and the 5 stages of denial. The search for the next Tottenham manager is increasingly resembling a Pink Panther movie. And the reporting that has surrounded this entire fiasco, and a fiasco is well and truly what it is, has been pretty appalling, even by the English press's usual standards. And so I think this is from the Daily Mail, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there's nobody distinguishing themselves here, you know. Odds slashed on Rangers boss Steven Gerrard. Nuno Espirito Santo, Graham Potter favourite. These are literally people just shouting words. At the back of a taxi, drunk, as the taxi drives through a town centre at speed. Steven Gerrard to Spurs. Now this comes, and this is another another thing. This comes on the back of Sky Sports, or rather bookmakers Sky Bet, who've slashed the price of Gerrard being appointed in North London. The Rangers boss was a double-figure price just 24 hours ago, but has been backed into second favourite at 3-1. Sky Bet, I'm going to be careful here because I don't want to get sued, but Sky Bet in particular I find a questionable operation, because I've been watching football since I was very small, and in the latter years of my footballing observations, Sky Bet have come along and I see them publishing articles saying this is going to happen and oh yeah, because the betting market's moved and it's their own betting market. So they simultaneously publish articles pushing moves and then updating their betting markets. Now that's unhealthy at best. There could be harsher allegations made about this activity, but I'm not going to make them. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. But you know, the difference between being a publisher and being a betting company, there ought to be a gap between those two, and certainly one that you could drive a tractor and a trailer through, opposed to, you know, very carefully get a cigarette paper through. But Gerrard, seriously, okay, he did very well in Scotland, and without being unkind to the Scots, lots of people do well in Scotland, and there are reasons for that. Scottish football is very different to it is in England, just as, you know, Welsh football, Irish football, they're all good in their own way, blah blah blah. But enough lip service. I mean, I think he's a million miles away from being a serious candidate for any English Premier League side. And, you know, I caught a bit of TalkSport when I was doing some stuff in the kitchen this morning. And they were even, one guy on there was even talking about Lampard. I expect if Spurs don't sign anybody in the next week or so, Lampard's name to come up again. You know, is Gerrard ready to repeat what Lampard managed to do at Chelsea? Yeah. So, Nuno Espirito Santo. Tottenham reportedly set for U-turn and will hold talks with former Wolves boss. Now, this leads us into quite a murky and perhaps unnecessarily overcomplicated thing involving George Mendes, the super agent, because that's who Nuno is with. But what I find strange here, and I think this is, like I was talking to you yesterday about the rather grubby scene of crime that's been left behind after Mourinho, the sort of taint that there is over Spurs. The obvious one, you know, for me would be Rafa Benitez. But that's not a dynamic kind of, oh, look what we've done, you know, sort of move. That's a salvage job, like I was saying about Big Sam and Tony Pulis. But Rafa's supposedly going to Everton, which, after his small club line he made a few years ago, I can just see that causing massive problems. But Nuno is now becoming a more progressive choice amongst, shall we say, the white noise of social media. And Tottenham fans, I missed this because I was watching an Amazon documentary on Leeds, actually. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, I missed all this. But apparently there was no to Nuno trending, hashtag no to Nuno or something. Spurs fans left furious as the club identify Nuno Espirito Santo. Identify, yeah, because his name was mentioned like weeks ago as a leading candidate to become their new manager, threatening to cancel season tickets. Starting no to Nuno hashtag potential appointment of the ex-Wolves boss. And this, I mean, he doesn't tick the any sort of fantasy Tottenham DNA boxes. He doesn't play attacking, desirable football or whatever that, you know, we've been trying to identify ourselves with. And this sums it up. And I mentioned the 5 stages of grief. Well, the 5th stage is or some of you are aware, is acceptance. And I think we've got Sam Seaforth here at CTHZ. Are Tottenham fans just going to complain about every manager we're linked with? No to Nuno trending is more embarrassing than going 60 days without a manager. We're not a super club that's attracting the top candidates. Let's get behind whoever we get. Well, I admire, I don't applaud, but I admire your plucky resilience, Sam. But this goes against everything you've said in that one paragraph, that one tweet, goes absolutely against everything that we've been spoon-fed by Levy, by Enoch, by Mason, and all the other soft-minded cronies that have been lurking around this organisation. And I just find it very peculiar because Nuno, as I said, is a George Mendes client. So is Gennaro Gattuso. And then we've had put out this week that Italians, I'm not sure if he's a captain, but he's certainly their striker, Lorenzo Insigne, speaking to a Football Italia, said that Gattuso had texted him and said about Spurs that there was a bit of a mess. But I'm now focused on the Euros and blah, 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 blah. So this is Mendes. That didn't get into the public domain by chance, okay? You don't just happen to get those words out. So that's been planted there. There's a bit of a mess. This is Mendes turning up the heat to get one of his clients in. The first one fell at the first hurdle, Gattuso, because the world discovered that he said some hurty words a long time ago. So he can never do anything. And in fact, if the left got hold of him, he would be left homeless and unemployed forever. But yeah, this Nuno thing, it concerns me on 2 fronts. One, I don't think he's that brilliant. 2, I don't think anybody's going to be able to do anything with this squad. And 3, has Levy also hit acceptance in the 5 stages of grief? And just thought, well, we've got to get somebody. John Craven news round, kooky item of the day. It's our friends at The Athletic again. 140 million in the hole they are. Now this is absolute gold. Transfer rumour for Tottenham, who've got no money, no future, no nothing. But we do have a skywalk and the largest retail square footage in Europe. So, you know, it's not all bad. The Athletic are breaking with this exclusive. The international in question has been tracked by Tottenham Hotspur for a long time. Talks have taken place between Spurs, the player and his agent. And the transfer suits all parties with the exception of one. A manager has yet to be appointed. Until Tottenham's exhaustive search ends, it is now approaching 10 weeks since Jose Mourinho sacked, blah, 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 all transfers are on hold. Now, an unnamed player who is an international is all but agreed to his agreed terms, but they're waiting to see if the coach gives him his papal blessing. The coach doesn't pick players at Tottenham, so this is just window dressing if it's true. But it is possible. I take it that it is possible. It's conceivable that a deal has been kind of thrashed out in conversation. But I would have thought that any self-respecting journalist would have had more about themselves than to publish such a bizarrely open tale. And look, we're all reasonable people, and none of us expect to be told that player X is signing on Thursday, but don't tell anybody I told you, you know. But at least if they did, you could take that to a bookmaker, which is what, you know, a grown-up could wish to do. But a mystery player that might sign is something that surely you could only convince a 7-year-old over. Certainly while keeping a straight face. That's today, and I will keep my eye out to see if there's anything of genuine worth bringing you. But honestly, just order more salt to be taken liberally with all of the transfer rumours. It just doesn't stack up. Where's the manager coming from? This is properly embarrassing at this stage, and it's nothing against the poor peoples whose name are being mentioned. It's just the fact that we've been spoon-fed all this big dream scenario, and now we're being passed by. Who knows? Good luck. Keep it Tottenham.